Hi everyone, my name is Frederick. I'm the CEO and founder of ProfitMetrics. I'm super excited to show our newest feature called Real-Time Google Ads Insights. If we look back over the last couple of years, it has been really hard to optimize on these big sales days like Black Friday, Cyber Mondays, or birthdays. One of the reasons is if we look back in time, Google Ads data have always been a little bit delayed, but in Universal Analytics times, we used that analytics tool for seeing something that was close to real time. So we could actually, on a Black Friday, see the performance of Google Ads and make adjustments to budgets and so on over in Google Ads based on that data. But when the transition happened to GA4, the data become delayed. So it's 24 to 48 hours delayed, and it actually models much further out in the future, meaning that on a Black Friday, we have no insights in GA4 before Cyber Monday. So we cannot really use that tool anymore for doing optimization on big sales days like Black Friday. And if we're looking at Google Ads is around 3 hours delayed. So we can see conversions coming in after 3 hours inside Google Ads. But a little bit over 2 years ago, consent modeling came, so consent mode. And what happens there is that after 48 hours, it starts doing consent modeling. It also starts using the modeling from enhanced conversions, which is super effective. But that means that on the day after the 3 hours delay, we do not have the full insights into the conversions. They will again first appear to be full after around 48 hours to 72 hours. So we have lost that ability to actually take action on opportunities in the data, or maybe decreasing spend if things are not going as well as we thought. And this is why we have built the Google Ads Insights. What we have seen the last 2 years that a lot of our clients and agency partners have done is they have gone back to using blended ROAS or MER or blended POAS on the day. So they actually have some kind of indication of how is everything performance in terms of the whole store and the ad spend. The problem by this is just if you are in charge of the Google Ads account and everything looks really good, you can see blended ROAS or blended POAS goes up. You don't really have insight into if it's a social ads campaign that have been turned up, or maybe the customer have sent out a big bulk email blast or SMS blast. So you don't really know what is coming from Google and what is coming from other channels on that day. So this is why we have released the Google Ads Insights. What it does is it gives you the ability to see something down to hourly level of how things are performing. Let me get into how it works. ProfitMetrics have Google Click ID GBraids on consented orders, meaning that we know if there is a Click ID, Google have been in on that journey. Not saying that not other channels have been in on the journey, but we know there have been a click from a Google Ads in that conversion journey. So we essentially look at all the orders we have with Google Click ID and consented orders, of course. So here we can give KPIs like revenue, profit, POAS, ROAS based on orders we have Click IDs. But the big problem is the algorithm are working on an average of the conversion value coming in, including the consent models. And we do not have the consent models before 48 hours after. So how we have done it here is we are trying to make some estimated revenue, ROAS, POAS, profit after ad spend, based on how much Google normally models. If we go back 3-4 weeks, we can normally see the model is pretty stable. So the people that says no to consent, the amount of enhanced conversion that get modeled is pretty steady. So what we actually go in and do is we take the last 30 days of the consented conversions in Google, and then we look at how many orders in that period did we have Click ID. We minus 2 days because the last 2 days there is no modeled conversions. But we essentially just find the difference between modeled conversions and orders that are consented with Click IDs. And then we have a percentage. So we go in and estimate Google Ads orders, estimate revenue. We have both including and excluding VAT because some are optimizing including VAT. We have estimated gross profit, estimated ROAS, estimated POAS, estimated profit after ad spend, down to the hourly level. So of course, this is never 100% exact, but because modeling is so normally stable, we can actually within the hour give a very, very accurate view of what is going to happen 48 hours once the modeling comes in from Google. So you will see on that day afterwards, if it's Black Friday, then on Cyber Monday, if you go into the Google account, you will see it's actually very, very accurate up against the estimated KPIs here. And what this does is it gives you the ability to actually go in on an hourly level and look at isolated Google performance or isolated performance where Google have been in on the journey. So you can actually take those opportunities and do seasonal bid adjustments, both up and down based on if it's not going as well as you thought, you can decrease budgets and the seasonal bid adjustment, or if it actually is going better, you can take those opportunities. And this is what have been really, really hard the last couple of years, to actually take opportunities and look at the data, because we don't have insight. We have insights into the data too late when we cannot take action. So this is what we have created with these new Google Ads insights. So how you set it up? If you go into ProfitMetrics dashboard, we need to have the marketing channel configured. You click on the little icon here, customize. If you don't have that section, it's down here. Then you click on the pop-up and enable it. If you have not enabled it, you need to click configure conversions. Here there will be a standard setup that is equal to the conversion booster. And if you have different conversion actions, because we need to understand which conversion actions are profit in the Google Ads account, which one are revenue. So if they are named something else, or you're doing a combination of different conversion actions that are not conversion booster, then you can edit these and then click save. And then we have the CPA that will normally be the primary conversions, but it can be both from revenue or profit. Just choose one of them. Click apply, and from that time, we get the data in and pull in 30 days. So I'll recommend starting as soon as possible, so we have 30 days back right away. And this is those 30 days we can use for figuring out how much is Google normally modeling of conversions after the 48 hours to make these live KPIs where we have the orders with click ID, where we then add the estimated model from the last 30 days. So data freshness, that's an important factor here. You'll be able to see when the ad spend is fetched. We fetch ad spend from Google every single hour. It can sometimes be plus minus 5 minutes, depending on some queues, but it's around every hour, and you will see the last fetch. Then we have orders in these KPIs from every 30 minutes, meaning that if you go in and let's say we do an ad spend fetch at 10:15, then we will include orders up to 10:30. And we do that because in the ad spend, there could be people that have clicked, you have paid that in the ad spend, but you have just not converted yet. You're still adding to the cart. You're still checking out. So we round it up to the next 30 minutes. So you still have some of that conversion value coming in from what you have paid. So we're trying to time it as best as possible. And then normally you have a conversion lag in many stores that are much, much larger. But what we often see on these big sales days where there is limited budget is that the conversion lag is much smaller, because of course the customer want to make sure that they get the products before they get sold out. So normally that conversion lag is smaller. So we round it up to the next 30 minutes order fetch. So what can you actually do with the data? So if you, for example, see that it's actually going much better than we thought on the day, we can increase the budgets, but you can use also the seasonal bid adjustment, which tells Google's algorithm that we are getting a higher conversion rate for example. So you need to be more aggressive. So you can go in and choose those campaigns that are actually, if you have certain campaigns that are running these sales, then you can go in and say that to Google that we are going to have a higher increase in conversion rate, and then Google will adjust and go more aggressive. It can also be the other way around. But the live Google Ads Insights is what makes it possible for you to actually do adjustments throughout the day, because you can still do the adjustment with seasonal bid adjustments, but before you would only have the blended ROAS and POAS where there could be other channels combined. Now we are trying to isolate it towards Google and then adding the model so you have a better estimate on how it's actually going right now, so you can do these seasonal bid adjustments throughout the day. If you're using ProfitMetrics Shopping Booster, and if you are using the profit part of it and you have some campaigns that is isolated, this is the products we are running the sales on. We have made a template you can use, an automation, where you can easily isolate those products that have a higher discount, which will impact the margin. So it will be easier to isolate them and then do the bid adjustments, seasonal bid adjustments on these campaigns. And if you want this automation, just send an email to support and we will send the share code. And this way you can just copy paste it in the code, and then it will create this automation for you so you can look at it. You don't have to activate it, but you can look at the setup. Also, of course, once we are then over that period, I always recommend go in and make exclusion in the data in Google, because that will tell Google afterwards that this data is not normal. Please do not look at that in this period. So let's say you have Black Friday, you have Cyber Monday, then when you get to Tuesday, things will not be the buying intent will most likely not be as high. So there you maybe want to exclude that period where it's not regular purchase intent. So always go in and use these exclusion periods. It's very, very valuable to get the data normalized in the algorithm. But if you're using these labelizing tools, scripts, or Shopping Booster, normally what is a problem is that you would like to have, let's say, 60 days, 90 days look back, because you want to have some kind of significance how the performance is. So it's not just if you only had 7 days, you don't have a lot of data, so it can just be some lucky big purchases that actually makes products being winners, or maybe a very, very few conversion makes them unprofitable. So you want that 90 days, but even though you do these data exclusions in Google, it will not change in the reporting. So all labelizer tools are working of pulling out reporting data from Google, for example, 90 days. So if you have a Black Week where the sales is super great, once you get over that Black Week, that week will still be included, which will have some products be in wrong buckets, because they have actually performed very well on the sale, but afterwards and before they are not really performing that way. So what we built last year, and not very many is actually aware of this feature, but I think it's a really cool feature, because here you can actually say we want to look 90 days back, but we want to exclude in that reporting data, for example, Black Week. So it always looks back 90 days after that week, but it excludes that week where the data is not normal. And this actually normalizes the data within that 90 days. And you can even set it up before. So you can say, let's say it was just Black Friday. You can actually set that date before, and once Shopping Booster is over that date, it will exclude that day in the whole 90 days period. Every time it pulls and fetches the data, creates a new feed with custom labels, it will exclude that data where it's not regular performance. So this is just a cool feature if you're using Shopping Booster that I wanted to make sure that everyone knew actually was there, because that will make it much, much easier once you get over. Even when you get to January, if you're looking at 90 days, you still have some of these sales periods in where it's not regular shopping for January. So you can exclude that, but still get those normal days of performance. So this is a brand new feature. So it's a beta feature. It's the first version. We wanted to push it out so people could actually use it now for the big sales coming up. But everyone who uses it, please come back with feedback. How can we improve this? How can we make it even better for future sales days? Please share your feedback so we can make it better. And even though if it is perfect, please let us know. So we'll be really happy to hear that feedback. And yeah, we want to involve this product because we can see there is being missed opportunities in not having real-time data in Google Ads anymore because of consent modeling and in GA4. And blended ROAS, I love blended ROAS, I love blended POAS, but they're not telling you which channel is working good or bad. They're just telling you how everything is performing combined. So that's where it starts, that's where it ends. But if you want to allocate or do seasonal bid adjustments, you want to know what is actually coming from Google. So looking forward to hearing your feedback, and thank you so much.